Three, two, one, and we're live. What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hook Sets Are Free. I am 6 minutes late. It's a little after 9 o'clock Saturday, April 5th, 2025. Hope you guys are having a good evening. I see there's already a handful of people in here. I apologize for being late. Douglas in the house. Michael in the house. Malone, what's up? Oh, you're skirting up some dice. All right. Right on. Tom Mix in the house. Caro, how you doing? Thank you guys for joining this evening. Good to see you guys all in here and chatting it up. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. My daughters are not doing a fantastic job yet sleeping tonight. And honestly, I didn't know if everybody would be in on time or not. I don't know if you guys are into March Madness. But that second half of the Duke game is going on right now. So I figured it was maybe a little bit risky for me to hop on, but looks like Duke's up by 11 points with 8 minutes to go. So, oh well. My draft or my bracket rather was a bust. Somewhere between the Sweet 16 and the Final Four. I made the risky move of not picking any number one seeds in the Final Four. So, cheers, everybody. We're going to finish off this Buffalo Trace to start out and then have a brewski or two. So, hope you all have been doing well. It's been a minute since I've been on, for being honest. It's been probably a full month, if not a little bit longer. So, cheers. I've got two packages to open tonight. One is my monthly discount tackle unboxing from last month, March. And the other is just kind of a one-off tackle warehouse package that I got following the Bassmaster Classic. So I feel like a lot has transpired just in the fishing world and in the world since last time we spoke, but hope everybody's doing well. I don't know if you guys have gone out and fished much, but it has not been a tremendous amount of fishing for me in the last month. I'll say that. I want to say I'm at about 10 fish for the year so far, but about half of those have been pretty good ones. So after yesterday was the home opener for the Colorado Rockies, and my company puts on a huge party for it every year. So my team and I went and volunteered for that party, got out a little bit early, and so I went fishing on my way home. It was frigid outside. We had snow on the ground a little bit each of the last 3 days. It has melted each day, but yesterday was like 35, maybe 40 degrees and chilly, but managed to grab a, high to maybe right around 3 pound largemouth at about 4:30 p.m. It was very cold. So, yeah, that was tight. And then this must have been after we saw each other last, but when did we see each other last? I think I showed you my first few fish of the year, but did not show you my big fish. And correct me if I'm wrong. Did I show you guys this fish right here? Probably a solid 5.5 pounder, right up there with like a top 5 fish for me. And that was that Raid Okasana slide swimmer, little 7-inch soft plastic glide bait that I whacked on. And just like last year when I caught a fish on that bait, it was so cool. I could actually see the fish come up and grab it and go back down. The hook set was just so fun and so perfect. I believe I showed you guys last year when I caught the fish on that bait. But man, when they wolf it, it sure is fun. So yeah, last year, of course, I'm wearing the same jacket. This was in October of last year, November. This was the week before Thanksgiving. That was about a 4-pound fish. And the fish I just showed you, it was definitely bigger than that one. And yeah, really fun bait to catch him on because of that line through hook system. Although that back hook, both times I've caught the fish, has been buried back in there, and it makes it a little bit scary to remove the hook. But both of those fish have been totally fine, not too much bleeding, and have gone about their business just fine upon release. So anyway, yeah, I've caught some pretty good fish, and on a little bit of a variety, but I find myself still leaning so heavily on the chatterbait. While it works for me, especially when I'm limited on time, it's kind of still my biggest confidence bait to cover water and give myself the best chance of catching a fish or 2 or 5 in the hour or 2 that I have to fish. Got a couple more people in here at this point, so I'm about to rip this box open. Gators Adventures in the house. Yeah, you figured I was frozen stiff. Understand. A 505, what's up, man? I did survive another winter though, Gators. I wish I had gotten a couple more days of skiing in. I do have technically 2 weeks until closing day at Vail where I ski. So I might try and sneak another day or 2 in. I think I got 17 in this year, which is pretty good for me. Actually, the best year that I've gotten in about 10-ish years. So happy about that. Here she blows. Not a very big package. So I'm trying to remember what it is that I did purchase from Discount Tackle last month, but we'll find out together. This is always one of my favorite things about doing a live unboxing is that I don't remember what I got. And so you get to see my live reactions to the baits. And you guys know by now that most of the time I'm picking up new baits. Well, look at that. We got a sticker change. So for the last handful of months, it's been this dude right here. We're on to this guy, little black and white camo. I am not mad about that. Pretty sweet. Kind of matches this sun shirt that I've been wearing. And yeah, if you like anything that you see tonight, if you like the hat, if you like the sun shirt, if you like any of these baits, just copy paste the link from the description of this video into your browser. That'll take you to Discount Tackle using my affiliate link. And Discount Tackle will really appreciate it that I'm sending you their way. I will really appreciate that I make a small commission on it, and everybody wins because you save a little bit of money just by shopping at Discount Tackle. If you guys aren't already familiar with Discount Tackle, it has been one of my favorite places to shop online for about the last 3 to 4 years. And I can't stop, won't stop. So here's a little preview of what we got. $84. I don't want you to see too closely because I'm not looking either. So $84 is the magic number. Let's just let's do it randomly. Let's pull something out. Okie dokie. Jackal Drift Fry. Have you guys tried this bait yet? I have not tried this bait. It has been on my radar, something that people have been talking about a lot the last year or two, primarily as a forward-facing sonar bait, but I know it has a little bit more play than that. Doesn't need to be used with forward-facing sonar. I don't think Jackall is heavily discounted at Discount Tackle. It might be one of the brands that they're not allowed to discount, but $12.99 is what I paid, and these come 5 to a pack. All right. What's cool about these is it has a soft plastic blade on them. And I can't hang it up. They're going to make me rip it. But you guys know that doesn't stop me from opening a bait and giving you my impressions of it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So my understanding is that you just throw this thing on a straight round ball jig head and reel it straight. And it's going to have a subtle movement, a pretty strong rolling action on its own. So gators, we are mostly melted by now. Usually every year it's anytime between early March and early April. So yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago that most of my bodies of water that I fish were thawed out. I'm in the Denver metro area, not up in the high country. So it does take a little bit longer up in the mountains for bodies of water to thaw out. But yeah, I'm thawed out now. It's just a matter of finding the time. Oh, did you? Z-Man is the main reason that I started shopping at Discount Tackle. I am a Z-Man junkie. You guys know that if you've watched me for a while, that I've got probably 5 or more boxes full of Z-Man. I've got them categorized by type of presentation for the most part. I have most of their soft plastics straight up. So here's the Jackall Drift Fry. You can see it's got that bill on there, but it is a soft plastic bill. So very interesting type of presentation. Very super soft plastic on there. It is a straight tail that I suppose you could cut out if you wanted to make it a forked tail. You could just cut a little V in there to give it just a hair more action. And I don't know whether people do that or not. The body is solid. For a minute there, I thought it wasn't. Golly, it's very, very soft. But I'm going to have to play around with this. I'm pretty sure you just rig a round ball jig head or something of the sort, thread it straight through, and then straight swim this through the water. And it's going to have a pretty aggressive rolling action without having to impart any action with the rod itself. So pretty cool concept, and a bait that has kind of created somewhat of a new category. I don't know just how popular of a category it's going to be, or if a bunch of other lure manufacturers are going to make it. There are 1 or 2 else on the market. 505, is Houston coming back or what? So that is the Jackall Drift Fry. And speaking of Z-Man, I picked this guy up last month, and I do believe they're available at Discount Tackle. And that is the TRD Fatties. So new bait from Z-Man. They've had all of their TRD baits. They had the Fatties and the Magnum Fatties. Now they've got the TRD Fatties, which for a long time, well, a number of months, it was exclusive to Tackle Warehouse. And since then, it has been released to other retailers. So Discount Tackle should have them. Darwin, working on a Discount Tackle order right now. Well, do me a favor. copy paste that link from the description of this video into your browser. It'll just take you back to the home page, but what it'll do is link up my affiliate code with your order. It won't change the pricing of anything, but I will get a little bit of credit for it, and that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, now check this out. We're just going to stay in this lane for a minute because look at that. I was just mentioning that there are one or two other manufacturers making the same type of bait. And this is Nomad Designs. And they've got a little bit of a new concept that they're bringing to this bait design and a few of their other baits as well. So first positive, they're not going to make me rip the packaging. I can just open it straight up. Second thing, I smell some scent straight away. Let's see how much this one costs. There's 4 in a pack. And this guy, what's this one called? The Delta Minnow. $14.99. Okay, so this is more expensive than the Jackal. So let's see. Without having fished either of them or knowing much about them, let's just make some basic comparisons. First off, what I notice is that this guy is made from an elastomer material, okay? So, check this out. Now, I don't necessarily want to pull too hard, but you can see like with that bill, I can stretch that way out. The body is pretty firm. However, one thing that makes this bait super unique, see those holes in the bottom? And do you see what I see in the back here? There are 2 metal balls, tungsten balls in there. And the bait is designed to be weighted in a custom way. It's very scented. So from a profile standpoint, it's very, very similar. Even down to the tail and the fact that it's like it's begging to be cut out, but it's not cut out yet. So that's up to you. Uh-oh. I done hooked myself. So it comes with 2 tungsten balls already placed in the latter 2 holes. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes, actually 8 in the bottom of the bait. And you can add more balls. You can move these balls around. And it's a pretty cool system, actually. So comes with a threader. This little metal tube that what you'll do is take advantage of the elastomer and force your way into one of these holes and drop a tungsten ball in there. So if you wanted this, you know, it's weighted at the back here, which I would think will give it kind of more of a maybe neutral-ish type of fall, or even fall backwards a little bit. But let's see if I can get one of these balls out. I'm going to kind of be aggressive with this bait for a minute or two. It's like I've got it all but out, but I think it's the elastomer is like wrapped around it. It's like sitting in an elastomer pocket. Okay, I've got it out now. Was a little bit aggressive with it, but let's say I wanted to move this up toward the front of the bait. I'm going to go to the third slot here. And I'm going to try to force this threader in there. I'm struggling to do so, though. I don't know if I have to stretch the bait out or what, but by all means necessary. I'm going to get this in here. Now, you would hope that it's a little bit easier than what I'm doing right now. Maybe with how aggressive I'm being, I could just shove it. By the way, this tungsten ball looks just like a little split shot. But I don't think I'm following the instructions right. If there are instructions. Applicator tubing. Yeah, well, I'm trying. Okay, set that ball there. Let's come on, let me in. Okay, I'm gonna hold that in there. Drop that ball in there. And nope. Cool idea. But how doable is this? Do I have to warm it up? What am I doing? I think I messed it up, guys. Okay. Do I come in from the top? I think maybe I'm supposed to come in from the top. That's unbelievable. You know, it could help to wet it. Look at that. First try. I don't think it had to do with the lubrication, but I'm going to drop this ball in the second slot. Try and slide this applicator tubing out. Nope. Didn't work. Oh, we got it. Okay. All right. Now, if you take a look, we got one in the front and one in the back. So, lesson learned, you got to come in from the top. There are a bunch of holes up here. And it's a little easier to come in through those holes with the applicator tubing. So, for example, if I wanted to come in the fourth hole, just like that. So, I don't really understand what I was thinking when I saw all of these holes in the bottom. Are those for air bubbles or what? I don't know, but I kind of destroyed the bottom one, when pulling that ball out through the bottom, I kind of blew that out. I think in order to take out and remove a ball, you just push it up through the top. Like you can see as I'm starting to do that it exposes itself. So I think it should be easier than I thought it was. And this is half the reason I do this crap, is so that you guys can see me act a fool trying to figure it out. And then if and when you guys decide to try it out yourself, you know how to do it, or you can actually read better than me. Applicator tubing with that arrow facing down. Oh my gosh. I promise I know how to read. I don't know. Unbelievable. So this is called the Adjustable Tungsten System. Adjustable Tungsten System. Delta Minnow 4.5 inch. It includes a tube and two 4.5 millimeter ball weights per bait. So the ball weights are already inserted into the bait. You can remove them and move them around. You could double up and put 4 weights into a bait. That's going to change the sink rate. So what it says on the back of the packaging is that this adjustable tungsten system allows adjustable sinking rate and angle to achieve hundreds of different natural finesse presentations. Extreme visibility on sonar from the line of tungsten weights. Ready to fish out of the packet with preloaded tungsten ball weights in each bait. So add ball weights in every chamber for a fast level sink. Move the ball weights and combine it with a jig head or unweighted hook for the ultimate in presentation options. Level sinking, head down or tail down customizable presentations. This allows complete, unique, and lifelike actions which cannot be achieved with other systems. Achieve more natural finesse presentations with or without a jig head. So interesting concept, very customizable. I'd never seen something like that. So I picked up that bait and I picked up their other bait called the Fallout Minnow. 4.25 inches, a little bit of a different profile on this guy, but same system. Honestly, I don't know what makes. Oh, this is just a straight up minnow bait. Okay, so we have no bill on the front of it. This is more of just a traditional forward-facing sonar bait with a fork tail, a little added weight to that rear section of the tail. Pretty cool shape. And it comes with 3 tungsten balls already loaded in there. Smaller tungsten balls. Beautiful color. So this one's called Natural Shad. That first color was called Tennessee Shad. And that Tennessee Shad to me looks a little bit like electric shad. I like that a lot. This Natural Shad is nice too. A lot of detailing on the bait itself with the fins and the gill plating, all of that. Pretty well done. And it is also made from elastomer. You can see a bit more in this one that this is a thinner bait, quite a bit easier to stretch out, but made from elastomer. So that kind of justifies the price tag a little bit more, in that the life that you're going to get out of these baits is going to be substantial, right? You're probably more likely to break off the bait than you are to rip it. You're going to get it hung on something, you're going to lose it before it's going to tear on you. So that's the adjustable Fallout Minnow. So 3 baits straight off the jump that are all expensive that I don't know how often I'm going to use, but definitely wanted to get them in my hands and see what they're about. That one was probably same price. Yeah. $14.99, 4¼ inches versus that Delta Minnow being 4½ inches. $14.99. Expensive, but not insane for being elastomer and being international and having some unique design qualities to it. Sorry, I'm not responding to your guys' chat just yet, but let me catch up real quick. That is a fact. That is a fact. I'm going to place my April order in the next couple of days because they got some stuff in that is sitting in my cart. Maybe we could talk about that after I do the unboxings, and we'll get around to that. I'll explain it, but is it really? That's what I hear as well. The lead is cut to 4. What are we at right now, dude? The game over? Yeah, Duke's going to win it. Okay. All right. Malone, yes, it's made from TPE or whatever it is. TPE is usually the kind of generic name for it. But yes. Kirk Blackador in the house. What's up, dude? Yeah, that smaller fatties is going to be sick. I can guarantee it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah, they look pretty sweet, honestly. And there's a handful more of their baits out there, but yeah, I decided to give that a whirl. So next up is a new stinky bait, a classic release. I decided not to get both of them because they both look like copycats of other baits, just in a Max Scent presentation. So I can't exactly tell you that I'm like pumped about these, but I am a believer in Max Scent. So what can you do? This is one that I'm a little bit more likely to use. So this guy is called the Stank Bug. And tell me in the comments right now, what does that profile scream to you? What are they knocking off with that profile and those kickers? Yeah, no problem, Julie. Sorry to embarrass myself for a good 5 minutes while trying to figure it out, but now you know. You just use this little guy, and it will pretty easily shove into any one of the holes from the top of the bait. And with it fully inserted, you drop one of those tungsten balls in and then kind of twist it out of the bait. That ball will stay in there. So it's actually not that difficult to do. I just made it look really difficult to do. Tom Mix with the first response, and he is absolutely correct. So that Ultra Vibe Speed Craw, whether it's the regular or the Magnum, doesn't matter. But, oh, speaking of, this was our test from last month. It just so happened to be this pack of baits that I sprayed the scent into from G-Crack. So this Ultra Vibe Speed Craw from Zoom is the OG with this shape of kicker legs. And surprisingly, not a ton of baits or other manufacturers have knocked it straight off. But for the longest time, it's been an absolute killer and been great to me. So I always have a handful of packs of them in the regular and the Magnum. Sometimes I like to pick up special run colors, so I've got the Smallmouth Magic, the Dassault Parami Pearl. It's a pretty wild looking color. And I've got the Huckleberry, among many other colors as well. So Ultra Vibe Speed Craw is exactly what I was thinking. And I'm going to get my fingers a little nasty just to show you. Check this thing out. They took the Ultra Vibe Speed Craw and made it their own, if you will. Now, this is a downsized presentation. I kind of like this. This is 3.5 inches. And it's full-blown max scent, so it's going to be soft. It's going to have that same kicking action. Little disappointing that it's not creative in the least bit, but also I'm glad that it's in max scent because Zoom has no scent, and that bothers me a little bit. Not when it's on a trailer or something like that, but if I'm throwing this on the back of a jig or on a Texas rig, if I'm pitching and flipping something like this, having the scent of something like max scent certainly helps. So I did get one pack of those and wanted to see what they were about. I am not surprised. They also are making another profile that is exactly like the Strike King Rage Bug. So, yeah, I'm not super jazzed about that, but it is what it is. Okay, then we got maybe just 4 more things in here. 2 baits from Great Lakes Finesse. And they're both in the matte black color. So first is the 2 3/4 inch drop kick shad. I don't usually like to branch out and try a bunch of new soft plastic swim baits because I went through that phase a number of years ago and then ended up not fishing a lot of them because I know what I like. But this dude is tiny and, in my opinion, is going to compete directly with another bait this size. Can you guess what that bait would be based on just the look and the size of this bait? I like how this bait has kind of a thicker profile in the head and the initial body, but then really thins out here toward the tail. And it comes in a clamshell. So looks like it's going to have a solid amount of action. Will work well on a drop shot if you're swimming it or just on a really finesse jig head. But I like the look of this, and I don't think it's going to get terribly warped. So those are things that really matter to me. I do not want a tail that is going to get all twisted up before I even use it. So the way these are stored in the clamshell is perfect. So what? Yeah, Michael Bradley's right on it, dude. That Megabass Hazadong shad. Very similar to the Hazadong shad. And I had some good success on it last year as a standalone swim bait, as well as on the back of a chatterbait. So pretty cool to add these to the list, at least of baits to try, especially on a drop shot if I'm swimming a drop shot, which I do sometimes do, but not quite often enough. And I don't have a lot of baits that I do that with. I do it with the Hazadong shad, the Spark shad 3-inch, the Z-Man Minnows 3-inch. I don't even really do it with the Kitech 2.8. I'll sometimes do it with like an Easy Shiner from Kitech, but Either way, these Great Lakes finesse baits came in at $6.29. So they are not cheap baits, but they are high quality. They are good baits. I am a fan of them, and will give them more play this year than I did last year. This is a bait that I need to put into play this year and did not at all last year. So kind of disappointed in myself for that, but that Juvie Craw is a good one. So one more bait from them, which I believe is new this year. This is the 2.3-inch Ned Bug. So this bait looks pretty freaking sweet. Not in a clamshell, but I don't think really needs to be per se. They're well organized in the package. It's one of those like one-sided clamshells. So on the back, it's firm. So they're sitting in a tray, but not a shell on both sides. So whoop, here is that Ned Bug. 2.3 inches. Got a couple little appendages on the side and the antenna on top. Got a little bit of like a crawdad butt to it that a jig head will sit up nicely against. And pretty straightforward little bait here. It's got a hook slot on top. I have a feeling, well, and I think I got this one in black and blue, actually, not their matte black. So it's not quite as much of a matte finish, and you can see some of those blue flecks in there, but this is a cool little bait. I could see this being a multi-species killer. You know, it's even a little smaller than the Juvie Craw, both from a profile standpoint and overall length, but pretty close. And I'm sure that the success of the Juvie Craw led to them releasing this bait, but also just the presentation being a little bit different among the two baits. So that is that Ned Bug from Great Lakes Finesse. Looks pretty sweet. And these actually come 6 to a pack. Feels like you're getting more than that, but 6 to a pack. Again, $6.29 per pack. No way Houston's going to win. No way. No way. Oh my gosh. 68, 67? What? Go Houston. All right. That's what they call it, March Madness, for a reason. Dude, that's insane. All right, we got two more things in the pack here. One, I'm not even going to open for you because I did a couple months back. This is the Jackhammer Chatterbait in their blackjack color. So all matte black. This was the bait that caught my first fish of the year. And I fished it a couple more times and I got it hung up and broke it off. Pretty disappointed about that, but it happens. Happens all the time. So what can you do? I figure once the water gets a little bit clearer and I can actually see what it is that I got hung up on, I will try to retrieve that bait a little bit better, but I could not in the moment. So that was disappointing, but yeah, I'm just replenishing, if you will. So got that on sale for $12.79. One of my favorite things about Discount Tackle, you can get baits like that retail for $15.99 and get it for $12.79. Last thing in the package is little tungsten marabou jig made by Queen Tackle. Don't ask me why I threw this in. It was just new to Discount Tackle. I thought I would check them out. Little hair jig action. This is a 1/16 ounce in the brown color. I just want to see what kind of quality these jigs are because they're expensive, but not outrageously so. See if they'll let me open it. This is like a standard hook package. All right. Well, looks like quality marabou to me. And looks like it was tied pretty well. Tungsten jig head. So that goes a long way. And then the hook is sharp and is light wire. And also looks to be about a 1/0 size. So pretty nice. I'm not angry about the purchase, but do keep in mind I got them for $7.99 for a 2-pack. So not cheap, but also not outrageous. So I will give these a go on like a float and fly type of presentation, or just straight swimming it and kind of hopping it through the middle of the water column. So these come in a 1/16 and a 1/8, as well as a 1/4 and a 3/8. That is a Queen Tackle LS tungsten ping jig. Okay. So that does it for the Discount Tackle unboxing. All things considered, I am not upset with the lineup that we got for $84. Some interesting new stuff that I have not tried. Really, any of those baits I haven't tried. So everything to me is brand new, from the Jackall Drift Fry to the new Nomad baits, the Berkley Power Bait, Ultra Vibe Speed Craw. What do they call it? The Stank Bug. And then the 2 profiles from Great Lakes Finesse and the tungsten hair jig. So, as well as replenishment on the jackhammer. Don't forget that one. That is perhaps the most crucial and such a great color. Matte black on a jackhammer. All right. So that's done. And suppose we could start on this bad boy. I want to say price point in terms of what I paid was about the same. Not an outrageous amount. Less than $100, but you guys know me. I'm looking to spend enough to get free shipping, but I'm probably not going to go absolutely wild unless it's something like Black Friday or something like that, where the deals are outrageously good. So what do you know? $84. I spent the exact same amount at Tackle Warehouse. So let's see what we got. Got some different stuff in here, and some of it was on sale. So let's start with a couple of sale items, because the way that I shop at both Discount Tackle and Tackle Warehouse is that I usually go to finding what is new and browsing around, seeing if there's anything that is new to the market or new to those retailers that I have not tried yet and that I think could have some play for me. And I'll add those to the cart, and then I'll go straight to the clearance section and see what is on sale, what has the deepest discounts that also has some play for me or that I've used and like. And then if I don't have a full cart by then somehow, then I'll go right down the pipe and look through things that either are tried and true for me that maybe I need refills on, or that have been on my radar for a long time that I have not tried yet. So that is kind of my thought process. And here's a bait that has been on my radar, but that I haven't tried for whatever reason. It's an in-between size for me, but it was heavily discounted. And so I almost couldn't help myself. This guy I spent $10 on. I want to say it retails in the like $25 range. And this is the Spro 4-inch shad. They call it the Swim Bait Shad 40. Okay. This is a multi-jointed swim bait made by Spro. I have used and I have a few of the little guys that are like the 25 size. And I actually do like those. But for whatever reason, I never got this 40 size. I felt like the time just wasn't right. The price wasn't right. And that all lined up this go around. So at Tackle Warehouse, this guy was cheap. Looks like we got some thread coming out the back of it. I doubt that that's meant to be that way. Probably needs to be cut off, but looks like some braided line or something. I'm going to leave that there for now in the event that somehow this bait's designed to have that. I would doubt it. This is a single hook bait, but it's like a size 4 Gamakatsu. And on the whole, it's a good profile. It's got 3 joints to it, 4 pieces. This is a bait that you can burn, although I did buy the slow sink. So I'll keep it a little bit higher in the water column for the most part. And for $10, I figured, what the hey? Might as well give it a shot. Good color pattern, good design, good hardware on it. Not a lot to complain about here. So that was item number 1 at $10. Was the Spro 4-inch shad, or should I say Swim Bait 40. What else was on sale? Handful of things. Let's go with this guy. Okay. Have you guys tried this bait? Have you tried any of these Spro DuraTough baits? They made a couple of profiles in this DuraTough material a couple of years ago. And they're actually not that bad, but they were priced to where it really didn't make sense to buy. And then I think they didn't sell well. And so guess what? These are at $1.97 right now on Tackle Warehouse. So little standard green pumpkin beat down is what they call this color, which is pretty sick. It's like a green pumpkin brown. Or it's hard to tell in this lighting. Green pumpkin blue flake. I don't know. Either way, profile wise, this is a skinny Ned bait with this like diamond shaped head. So it tapers down and then back up to this head. So you do get that action from the head, and it is made from elastomer. So they call it DuraTough. It is scented. These are quality baits. In fact, it's got a little bit of texture to the sides. So it's almost like it's a 4 or 8 sided bait with ribbing all throughout. So it is going to move a little bit more water than other Ned baits like the Finesse TRD, and it's skinnier. So whether fished on a drop shot or on a Ned rig, This thing is a solid bait. I do have some underwater footage of this bait, and I am a fan of it. I've fished it a decent amount, but I think I only initially bought it in like 2 colors. So now that it's on sale drastically, $1.97, shoot. I mean, I should have bought like 3 or 4 packs of them at that price, but I honestly think I only bought 1 pack. So what can you do? Oh, well. Jermaine, bunch of maniacs. We're just chilling, dude. Unboxing some shite. Were you watching the March Madness or what, dude? Another profile, another manufacturer that got into the TPE space around the same time was Savage Gear. And they call their stuff Duratech, not Duratough. And this bait right here, the Dragon Tail Slug, is a good one. They make a craw bait and this Dragon Tail Slug, which are both fantastic. Comes in a legit clamshell. I have this bait in a few different colors, but did not have it in pink and thought, yeah, I could use that in pink. I have their salamander. So the craw, the salamander, and the slug are all fantastic. Made of their Duratech, and has a tremendous amount of action with the ribbing and just how thin the actual body becomes in the second half of this bait. Really good. So I have the pink in their salamander and have caught some really good fish on it in chartreuse and in pink, but saw that this bait was on clearance as well, down to I think $2.97. And I can't say how underrated this packaging is too. Like, just take a look at how uniformly this fits. Smaller than the size of my hand, compared to, say, what Spro did in just having a tray that 5 little measly baits are fitting in and sliding all around. It's not entirely necessary, but look at how much bigger the packaging is than the tray itself. It's just a waste of space. So Spro could have done a better job. Savage Gear did an excellent job. And I like the bait just a little bit better. I like the fatter profile. I like the ribbing. It's a great one. So $2.97 on that. And the last clearance item is a real one-off bait that I have not really thrown. I might have 1 pack of these, but I don't think I threw it. But this is the Fish Arrow Heavy Poop. This is their scat style bait. I now have a few poo baits. I did fall in love with the Depths Cover Scat 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And so then subsequently decided to give a couple more a shot. And then it's like my fish turned off and don't really love this style presentation anymore. But what's cool about this Fish Arrow, the JDM poo bait, I mean, I know that Depths is JDM, so I shouldn't be saying that. But now there's manufacturers that are not JDM making poo baits. But the Heavy Poop actually looks like a crawdad with its claws tucked in. There's different theories about whether it's a defenseless craw that has its claws in and is swimming away when you're twitching it, or if it's a craw that lost its claws and is just easy pickings for the fish. But this one has a little bit more substance to it and looks a little bit more realistic and is also still super heavy. This is 18 grams at 3.6 inches long. So do the math on that. 18 grams is 2/3 of an ounce. Is that right? That's that heavy poop. And a very traditional, like natural color pattern. Not quite a scuppernong, but let's see what they called it. Fish arrow heavy poop. It's called molting crayfish. And this was on sale for $4.98 per pack. So that is low enough for me to get in on this poop game. $5 a pack as opposed to $10 or $12 a pack that it was initially. So again, I don't know what made these baits be on sale or on clearance the way that they are, but sometimes after I'm grabbing what's new and I jump into the clearance, I see a couple things that are either tried and true for me, like I said, with that Savage Gear Dragon Tail Slug. The Sakura worm, I wouldn't quite call it tried and true, but it passed the test for me and the price was too good. And then you go the opposite end of the spectrum in the clearance bin, find something that was on my radar that maybe I haven't tried or given a shot, like that heavy poop. So there you go. Yeah. Well, Michael, I'm with you. Hopefully your poop doesn't look like that, dude. That's funny. All right. So we're going to move on to the king of beers. Cheers, mates. Not literally the king of beers, but it is a damn good one. Okay. Now, here is an interesting bait. You guys might have experience with this, but I do not. This is something that's been on my radar for a minute now, and stock has been difficult. They're rarely in stock. Because I think word got out maybe 2 years ago or so. That was right when they came onto my radar. So these baits, the big one is $7.99 and the other two sizes are $4.99. So let's start with the smaller sizes. And I thought I got one in shoe. Maybe not. All right. So here is the 3-inch Damiki Armor Shad. The original Damiki rig. Okay. So I could have sworn this was the 3-inch fat. I guess maybe I just ordered the regular. I think the fat is the newest addition to the lineup, but yeah, this is the regular Armor Shad. And I got one in the 3, the 5, and the 7. So we're going to start small first here. From a profile standpoint, this reminds me a lot of one other bait that I fish all the freaking time. Can you guess what bait that is? I talk about it all the time as well. Now, this does have a split belly, but from a profile standpoint, what bait am I thinking of that looks just like this, that is perhaps my all-time favorite soft plastic fluke bait? And I throw it on a drop shot the vast majority of the time. I sometimes will fish it on a micro chatterbait, but I talk about this about every other live stream that I do. Someone's got to know the name of that bait. What is it? Name that bait. Sitting right up here. Can you tell from the corner of the packaging? What is it? What is it? What is it? There's 18 of you in here. I know that's not a million, but you got to know. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. The profile is almost exactly the same, guys. There he is. Jermaine, my dog. Nope. Yep. 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 The Strike King Baby Z2. I always have a bunch of packs of these in stock, and I make a point to restock very regularly. This fluke style bait has caught me more fish year in and year out than any other bait. I mean, the jackhammer chatterbait over the last handful of years has probably outproduced this in terms of numbers, but in terms of just fish catching ability, this guy gets her done. Not necessarily this color. I do like this color a lot. This is the Glimmer Blue. But boy, oh boy, the Baby Z2 is, I would put it up there as my number one producing soft plastic of all time. And this color might be it. Arkansas Shiner. You guys saw me just re-up on this color. This package is brand new. Got it just a couple of months ago in the off season, because I go through 1 or 2 packs in this color every year, and then I don't quite go through a full pack of other colors every year, but it'll just like gradually dwindle down. So I try to keep some on hand in most other colors. So like the gray glimmer, yeah, so the Glimmer Blue was one that I was running low on as well, so that's why I grabbed a new pack of the Glimmer Blue and the Arkansas Shiner. Throw those a lot. Smoky Shad, I don't throw quite as much of. The Deal, I do throw that one a fair amount. And then, yeah, more Arkansas Shiner up there. But way to know, Jermaine. That's my dog. Oh, got Doe Live Beavers falling down. There's that Hazadong Shad. We were just talking about her. Very similar profile. Can you see that? Very similar profile to what we saw in that Great Lakes Finesse swim bait. So take a look at that. Take a look at that. I mean, this one almost has more of like a frog head, but there's not a lot that have that pronounced head like a Hazadong Shad does. Anyway, yeah, dude, if you don't already fish the Z2, you got to get on that. And when you do, this is one thing I talk about regularly. When you do, because these are such a good deal, I don't know why you wouldn't get on it immediately. But here's a bait that is ready to fish because I already did what I like to do with it. Here's a bait straight out of the package. Can you tell the difference? So here they are. Whoops. separate hands. Makes it hard to. Can you tell the difference between this bait? Look at it posture wise. And then look at this bait posture wise. This one's more stiff, right? Did you notice that? This second guy is straight out of the pack. It's more shiny. It is not quite as limp. And that is because the salt content that is inside this that makes it neutrally buoyant is in the bait. This thing has not been beat up yet. And as the bait gets more beat up, the salt will come out of it and give it a more lifelike action. And so the second I get these baits, before I fish them, I will, from head to tail, just start stretching this thing out, work my way down the bait, and start pulling the salt out. I'm not doing this directly in front of you because it'll start raining salt down on my computer. But what happens very quickly is then look at this. Then the bait starts to droop a little bit more and the salt comes out. It starts to look a little bit more beat up. And you can do that in all parts of the bait. You know, don't get me wrong. This is made from Elastec. So you can really tear on that and it's not going to come apart. That salt will come out and the bait will become more lifelike. Look at that flopping over like that. And then the bait is truly neutrally buoyant. It will act a little bit different straight out of the pack, but what do you mean thick tail, not stretch? This is a V-tail, but it is flat. Okay, so here's the bait from a top-on perspective. And yes, it is stretch. That's just the tail. Whoop. And stretch that tail 10 or 12 inches, no problem. It will not snap off. So if you're not fishing the Strike King Baby Z2, and I'm telling you, the Baby Z2 is the way to go, not the Z2. The Z2 is a full 5-inch fluke style bait. The 2 3/4 inch Baby Z2 is the move. I promise you. Do not be afraid of the small size. It kicks major ass. No, it's not thick. It's not thick. So the Damiki Armor Shad 3-inch, from a profile standpoint, reminds me a fair amount of that Baby Z2. Profile-wise as well. You know, that fork tail is more pronounced. It's got some great action. Does have a hook slot on top. And it does have a split belly. Very pronounced split belly. So you could throw like a size 1/0 hook on there. Whether you're throwing a 1/0 flashy swimmer or throw a nail weight in there and just rig it weedless, or you're throwing a ball head jig on here. There's a bunch of different ways to fish a bait like this, or you're drop shotting it. Doesn't matter. But a 3-inch fluke style bait in the black is going to be a good bait. So I thought I had got it in the fat profile, but apparently not. Now check this out. 15 pieces in the bag for $5. That's a deal and a half right there. I will probably fish this soon, and assuming all goes well, I'm going to stock up on those. And yeah, I'm happy about that. So stepping up in size, we've got the 5-inch, 11 pieces per pack, totally different color pattern. This is the Tennessee Shad, very translucent, but again, 11 per pack for $5. That looks like a pretty long 5 inches to me, and pretty thin. Look at how wide that split belly is. It's begging to be rigged on an EWG hook. Okay. Um, in fact, you might have problems if you tried to rig it with a straight jig head. Um, Inevitably, the hook is going to come through the nose, which ends about right there, and out into wide open space down here, and then have to punch back up through the back, which is fine. You can do it like that. I prefer a solid body if I'm going to use just a standard jig head. But one thing that I've heard about these armor shads is that they have a tremendous action on them because the plastic is soft and because this is a very like flat-sided fluke style bait, very narrow, right? And it has the ribbing on the sides. Look at how much flash you get out of a color like this Tennessee Shad. So just fishing it like a fluke style bait and twitching it, throw this on an EWG or just like a 3 or 4/0 worm hook, totally fine. Just an offset um, would work just fine. And I'm happy to add this into my fluke arsenal. I don't know why it wasn't in there already, but I guess a big part of that was, again, availability and also just not being a huge fluke guy. I fished the Zoom fluke. I fished the Sakamata Shad. I fished the Strike King full size Z2 some. Um, there's got to be like 5 fluke style baits that I use, and the Armor Shad was one that I had heard a bunch of things about, but never really gotten around to. And a reason why is that the bait that gets the most love in the family is this dude. Absolutely massive 7-inch, 5 per pack. But this bait gets similar love to, say, the Sakamata Shad from Depths in terms of just being like a game changer in what you get action wise. And what a great example this is of just how thin of a profile this bait is. This is a flat-sided fluke style bait. What a beautiful color this Pro Purple is. Um, and tremendous action you're going to get out of this thing. I hear that guys are just burning this bait and it acts totally wild in the water. So I am going to play around with this super, super soft. Um, I highly doubt it's going to have a lot of longevity to it, but I don't care. Um, it comes 5 to a pack, and it was what, $7.99 or something like that. I'm going to fish the shit out of this. Now that I've got it in my hands, I can tell you I've been missing out. I just need to find the right time to put this in my hands. But this is the kind of bait that, like, immediately you get confidence in before you've rigged it, before you've seen it in the water. And that is rare, right? I mean, a lot of times it's just up in the air. You check it out, you're like, that's interesting, that's cool. I need to try that out. This is a little bit different. I like this. I like it a lot. So we got a couple more baits in here. Think I saw Jermaine yapping a second ago. What was Jermaine saying? Evo Mini Max comes in my color, straight black. They really know what they're doing with color selection. Well, let's see what we can do about that, dude. Because guess what? I bought 4 Evo Mini Maxes, all in 3/8. I'm a big 3/8 guy. I did get 3 different colors here. So, first color, they call Tackle Warehouse Black Blue. However, it ain't black and blue. This is Jermaine's color, everybody. This is Jermaine's color. This is the first time that I've seen this bait in person. And it's nasty. And it's nasty. So let's start with the color. Look at the color of the skirt. Very black, little bit of blue flake. Then we go to the head. That is a matte black head. And the blade, matte black blade. Sick. That is essentially no different than the Jackhammer Blackjack that I got and restocked up on, which I'm so happy that they're actually sending to the States now. That was a JDM exclusive color for a long time. But Tackle Warehouse is one step ahead of the game in creating an exclusive color that is a matte black with a tiny bit of blue flake in there. And that is sick. Hand-tied skirt, small little hook on there. I mean, that's got to be a 2/0 hook, I think. Let's see. Yep, custom 2/0 heavy-duty needlepoint black nickel hook. Yes. Yes. So this Evo Mini Max, I've been waiting for this bait to become available. Tackle Warehouse made their video, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, about how this thing was coming, how it was on the market and how it was available, but it wasn't available. I couldn't freaking find it available on Tackle Warehouse for so long. And then just a couple weeks ago, boom, it shows up. I jumped on it. I'm like, I need some of these straight out of the gate. I know I'm going to like it. Looks like Tackle Warehouse did a fantastic job of taking the best features from both the Jackhammer and the Evo and combining them into a downsized bladed jig that is going to be lovely. So I am so happy that this is on the market now. I did order 2 in that color. So 2 in the Tackle Warehouse black and blue, 1 in the Bama Craw. This was my most productive color last year in the Evo. There's the regular Evo. There's the Evo Mini Max. And then lastly, Green Pumpkin Watermelon. I'll crack that for you. Green Pumpkin Watermelon sounds like, and based on pictures, looks like a nasty little color. Ooh. and it's just as good in person as it is in the photos. So check this out. Green pumpkin, watermelon. It's almost like a green pumpkin chartreuse, but not that pronounced. That's so sick. It's crazy because, like, in a soft plastic, I'm not that jazzed about the color. In a jig, I am. I am. It's got that matte green pumpkin blade. It's got that beautifully painted head with that big eye, with the solid big eye for the blade to head connection, the stamped weight, the hand tied skirt, the great hook. I mean, before I even fish this thing, I'm telling you, this bait's going to be a winner. Um, but I'm going to fish it this week. Like this is the reason that I made the purchase from Tackle Warehouse, and I'm not disappointed. I thought there was one more thing in this package. I know there is, but I can't find it right this second. So excuse me while I'm fumbling around to find it. Um hmm. I was too excited. Okay, here it is. All right. Last item of business. And those mini maxes, by the way, were $9.99 a piece. So not cheap, but also not outrageous. I I would probably buy a handful more at $9.99. So I got 4 of them because I needed it. Last item is an interesting one. Have you guys tried this or seen it yet? This is the Hags Hurricane bladed jig. So I know nothing. Um, the only thing I do know, yeah, Michael, you make a good point. The first gen mini copperhead bladed jig, yeah. Guess what though? Z-Man's chatterbait patent is up. So over the course of the next 1 to 3 years, we are going to see a flooding of the market when it comes to bladed jigs. And again, this is called the Hags Hurricane bladed jig. It says stainless steel blade, wire trailer bait keeper, hand tied skirt, ultra sharp hook. This is a 3/8 ounce green pumpkin. It's got a BKK 5/0 hook on it. So let's start there. 5/0 BKK hook. That is sharp as shit. Double barb bait keeper. Is that some heat shrink on there? Or just the way that it's painted? Um, hang tight. I'm going to mute you for a second. Sorry about that. This is my 9-year-old that I'm not very happy with. That's the third time tonight she's been out of bed. Not cool. 5/0 BKK hook. Right back into it. I don't know if this is shrink tubing or if that is the paint on it, but it's a good hook. A little bit of a different bend than what you see on a lot of other chatterbaits, but I'm not going to complain about that until it becomes a problem for me. Nice looking skirt. It looks more like a green pumpkin shad type of pattern. Not mad about it. And it is hand tied, but with thread, not wire. So might need to be reinforced a little bit. Also, that's just me nitpicking. I don't really care that much. Decent looking head on there. The weight is stamped. We've got a medium-sized red eye on there. Nice. We've got a good size bend there in terms of blade to head connection. A little bit of a different shaped blade than what you get out of a Z-Man, but it is slightly bent at the top. It is painted. And I don't know, it looks like maybe a slightly subpar snap on there, but so what? That can be replaced at a very low cost. And then the ultimate test is to get her going. Feels fine to me. Honestly, for $6, $5.99 retail with a BKK hook in there and a direct blade to head connection that seems like it's going to work, I will pay that all day to try it out. Now, if it performs as well as something like an Evo or a jackhammer, even in the ballpark of an Evo, then all of a sudden we've got competition on our hands. And guess what? The chatterbait market is going to take notice, and there are going to be other bladed jigs that come in and take some of that market share and perhaps force the price of the jackhammer to come down. So this is cool, and also what I expected when we found out that Z-Man's patent was officially up. Well, guess what? In come random brands like Hags and First Gen that are going to jump on it and freaking put out a good quality product. So fascinating and cool. And I will report back pronto. So that makes it up both unboxings, $84 a piece. We got some really cool and interesting stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. Let me know what did you guys find was the most interesting thing, or what caught your attention that wasn't on your radar before? What are you going to go get from either Discount Tackle or from Tackle Warehouse now that you saw me checking it out and you saw something you liked? Well, they just go down so easy, don't they? Well, guess what we have here? One more. Okay, one last beer. Maybe another 20 minutes of hanging out, then we'll get out of here, okay? $6 indeed. Whoops. Big 3/8 guy? Yeah. Michael, you've been throwing that 7-inch of the Armor Shad? I presume you like the action, but you haven't caught anything on it yet. How are you fishing it? Because I assume that kind of matters, right? It's not necessarily size of bait so much as the way that you work it, you know? Because as I showed you guys at the beginning of the stream tonight, look what can easily happen with a 7-inch bait. Down the gullet. No problem, dude. They suck that in. Boom, got him. So, yeah, I'm not scared of throwing a 6-7 inch bait, no problem. That Shadtron is going to get some use for me pretty soon. That Armor Shad is going to get some use. The Chad Shad, a little bit more from that slide swimmer I just showed you. So I do think big baits are, I'm not going to say necessary, but I do think that they attract and do catch big fish. So I just wonder how you fishing them, dude. What's up? Good to see you in here, man. Thanks for hanging out. If you're still in here, I don't know if you are, but yeah, 6/0 weighted swim bait hook. Okay, yep, that's totally fair. Oh, Tactical Bassin, talk about them. Is that why they're not in stock ever? Freaking Tactical Bassin, dude. That makes sense. Okay. And I know that they are fans of Demiki, so I guess that makes sense. I have not been tuned into watching their videos regularly like I used to. I used to watch their stuff like, within a couple hours or a day of when their last video was posted. But that's kind of gone by the wayside over the last couple of years, and I can't really explain why. I don't know if it's just the nature of my feed, and the fact that I haven't been on top of trying to track down their videos, but every couple of weeks I'll check and I'll watch one or two of their videos. So yeah, I don't know, but 6/0 weighted swim bait hook like a beast. That makes sense. I probably would have tried weightless first to see how it acts, and then probably, yeah, keel weighted, and then maybe tried with the, actually, with the design of the bait, I don't think you could easily throw a nail weight into these things. I think you'd have to throw a beast hook. That's part of what I was saying was that these guys have such a deep belly slot. I mean, it goes almost all the way through the bait. The top of the body is from my finger up. So it would be difficult to get a nail weight in there. Doable, but not very. So yeah, I would imagine a beast hook is probably the way to go if you're wanting to get this thing down a little bit and wanting it to dance and do some fun stuff. So I appreciate the advice, but sorry to hear you haven't caught any fish fishing it like that yet. What else do you guys want to talk about? It's hard to find the hooks. Dang. I've never had a lot of difficulty in finding beast hooks. You know, if you want, we can hop on Discount Tackle. I could show you. Um, I don't think finding beast hooks is going to be difficult, but wait a second. Quit it. Quit it. You quit it. I see you guys stealing a look at my cart like that. That ain't cool. All right. So front and center, the Z-Man Baby Jack jackhammer is in stock at Discount Tackle. And it's on sale. $13.59 down from $15.99. So you better jump on it. Every color's in stock right now. As you saw, I've got a couple colors in my cart right now. It's going to happen. So spoiler alert for next month's unboxing. Some baby jacks are going to be in there. I will compare them side by side with that Tackle Warehouse Mini Max Evo. That's for sure. But what did we come here to look up right away? What did we come here to look up? Of course they got them on sale already. It's just Discount Tackle, dude. Copy paste that link from the description of this video. If you're wanting a baby jack and you're wanting it on sale, copy paste that link and go grab them, dude. You say they got them on sale, but no, it's Discount Tackle. They got the relationship with Z-Man. All right. Beast hooks. Thank you, Diggs. Thank you, Carol. Keeping me on task. Appreciate y'all. Let's go back. Beast hooks. Owner Beast. Okay. Owner Beast. Oh, dude, you're so right. This 6 is out of stock. Interesting. Well, come on, owner, get with it. We got the 4-aughts, we got the 8-aughts, we got the 10-aughts, we got the 12-aughts. I mean, I think I've only bought the 12-aughts like once or twice. Seems so excessive, but what is the other one? Trocar swim bait. Will that work? Yes, it's this guy. The Magnum weighted. Oh my goodness. So the 5-aught is out of stock, but the 7-aught is in stock. This guy would work on the 7-inch bait. Okay. So 3-pack 7-aught from Trocar. This is the best competitor to the Owner Beast hook, in my opinion, in terms of the build of the hook, the bend of the hook, where the weight is. That is my next best recommendation. So interesting that those hooks are hard to come by right now. I was not aware of that. I've been pretty well stocked for the last season or two. There was a period of time when I was very, very well stocked, and that was shortly after the Mag Draft Freestyle came out. That and a few other solid body soft plastic swim baits in that range of 6 to 8 inches. I was like, oh, dude, I need 6-aught beast hooks, 7-aught Trocar, 8-aught beast hooks, and so I stocked up enough to where that's not on my list of like I need to re-up on those. So I've got the hooks for these armor shads, and we'll definitely throw a 6-aught beast hook to start out and see what it looks like. Excuse me. You're absolutely right about that, dude. BKK makes great hooks. Let's All right. BKK. I've not tried their just kidding, I have. So really you got to get this one and then take the blade off. The Titan Diver. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So you can get this dude in the 5/0. Titan Rider doesn't come with a weight. And here's the big dog. I've got those as well. Okay, so 6/0, 8/0, 10, 12, and 14/0. Get out of town, dude. So that might be the move right there for the time being for this 7-inch Demiki Armor Shad is the... Wait a sec. I'm not even sharing right now. So sorry, guys. Okay. I did look up the BKK hooks. Wasn't showing you guys, but here I find the Titan Divers and the Titan Riders. I was talking about the Titan Divers. That this is like their beast hook, but it comes with a blade on there, and it's a unique blade. Pretty cool. But you can remove it, and I think you can also remove the weight. Maybe not on this specific one, but you can only get it up to a 5/0. So after the Titan Diver, then you get this dude, Titan Diver Plus. With this one, you can take the weight off. So see how it's got that stopper on there? You can take that weight off of there pretty easily. And they make it in some mega sizes. So here we got the 6 and the 8 or 6 and 8/0, which will go really well with this 7-inch Armor Shad. So there you go. Pretty nice that it's a little bit modular in that you can add and remove the weight depending on the situation that you're in. And I know that I've got them somewhere on this desk, but it's a disaster. So yeah, it's like, in fact, I can see, look at this. There's the weight from a big ass hook. I knew I had them close by. Pero where are you? Pero where are you? Okay. Alrighty. On this 7-inch Spark Shad, I took that weight right off. Slid those stoppers out of there. Pretty cool system that you just put the weight on and then shove these stoppers in there and it will plug it and leave it. You can move that up and down the hook as well. So if you like it to be weighted in the front, like some manufacturers do, and be up there and be a little bit more nose down as it swims, you can do that. Or you can slide it back, and like an Owner Beast, you can have it sitting right in the middle and it be perfectly placed. Totally up to you, but you get that big ass bite on there. I want to say this is maybe like the 10 or 12-aught, and I just tested to see how absurd it would look on this bait, and it's actually not that insane. What's cool is it comes with a stopper in the back as well, so that will prevent the bait from sliding down over that. Now, it's not surefire, but makes it a little bit more reliable than what you get with like a standard beast hook. So anyway, that's what that bait looks like. A little bit too big for this bait, but not crazy. Yeah, and then this hook was attached to it as well. This is the BMC bladed, and again, there's a manufacturer that puts their weight way forward on the nose of the bait. So to each their own, but that BKK is a good one, no doubt. And I like that it's modular, that you can adjust it. You can take these stoppers out, essentially just pull them out of the weight, and then pull that weight right off of there. And then you just got stoppers on there. It doesn't matter. Those aren't for anything at that point. But now you have no weight on there. You just removed 12 grams, 12 G's from the hook. You're a ½ ounce lighter immediately. So very cool system. And as we talked about initially, that does come with a blade stock on there. So you got to pull that blade off, and then you got to separate the stoppers and pull the weight off of there as well. But pretty cool that you have the option to do that. So I'm a fan of it. And I don't know if I'm hearing my dog or my daughter. If it's my daughter, I'm going to freak out. I hear some stomping around. Does not make me happy. Daniel T in the house. What's up, my dog? Good to see you. You know what? I brought down my hat tonight thinking I was going to do some cool transition as we went from Discount Tackle to Tackle Warehouse. We didn't do that. That's okay. We unboxed packages from both places tonight. But good to see you, Daniel T. Thank you for stopping by. A little bit late, if we're being honest. It is a little bit late. I don't know if you were partying, watching some March Madness, chilling, going wild. It's 11 p.m., probably 12 or 1 your time, Saturday night. It is about quitting time for me, especially since my daughter is not stable and asleep right now. I'm surprised that I was able to get through this stream without having to leave you guys, whether it was to pee or to put one of my daughters back to sleep. But that is the main reason I haven't been on in the last 2 weeks, is that we've had some extreme sickness going on in our household. My 9-year-old got strep, which turned into pneumonia, even though 2 years ago she got her tonsils removed. And we thought, or I thought, my wife's a nurse and probably knows better than me, but I figured with her tonsils removed, she shouldn't be getting strep anymore, right? I mean, the reason we did it was that she got strep like 6 times in a calendar year. It was a lot. She missed 20 days of school in one single school year. But yeah, she had a brutal go of it with strep turned into pneumonia. And then almost right after she started getting better, then my 6, almost 7-year-old it got super sick. We didn't know what it was. Eventually took her. Turns out she tested positive for mono and strep as well. So mono for a 6-year-old is kind of absurd. turns out it was a false positive. So thank God we're not going to be dealing with that for the next month. Um, I don't I don't know why. I hate false positives because my wife and daughter went to urgent care and then the hospital when I was out of town a week ago. So I was out of town on a ski trip. Both of my daughters have been rather sick, one at a time, for about a week and a half to 2 weeks each. So the last 3 to 4 weeks has been kind of wild in our household, but we're trending in the right direction, and everybody is on the up and up. So yes, the pneumonia is all but gone. But yeah, we're not like a completely healthy household yet. Hopefully, we're on our way out. But weren't we repping Z-Man, talking Z-Man and Discount Tackle not that long ago? Yeah, dude. Z-Man is the deal. Z-Man's color, the deal, is also the deal. Yeah, Michael, you're right about that. Schools are germ factories. In fact, I think my 7-year-old, she'll be 7 next week. I think she was fine. She just spiked a fever when coming back from my wife and my kids went to New Orleans over spring break to visit my sister and her kid. And my daughter spiked a fever on the last day they were there, came back and then recovered and went to school on Monday, came back, and then Tuesday it got 10 times worse. And so I don't know if she just had like an off day or if she picked something up at school on Monday, but then all of a sudden, it went way sour way quick, and that's when just a few days later, then my wife and daughter they went to urgent care, and then urgent care sent them to the hospital to have all sorts of tests run, and that's when the false positive for mono came through, and then eventually the cultures for strep came back positive, but mono came back negative. It's a disaster, dude. What can you do? Thank you very much, Carol. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, we're an hour and 58 minutes in. If you have any other questions, throw them at me right now. If not, I'll sign out of here. I have a lot of organizing to do. The fishing season is upon us, and it's about time to get rolling and try and get out there as much as humanly possible. And I don't even have like a short list of like these 10 to 20 baits are brand new to me and need to get used soon. I need to get impressions. I need to talk about them. I want to know whether they are due to be in my regular rotation. And then these 10 to 20, I said I was going to do that last year and I didn't, or I barely gave them a chance. So I need to work it in. And then these 10 to 20 are my tried and true, and I got to stick to it. And then beyond that, like the kind of the one-offs or, quite honestly, I'm at a point where there are probably 200 or 300 baits that get use from me, and I need to dial that in a little bit. So it's that time of year where I need to organize them, and maybe I need to even consider giving away or selling off this stuff that is just sitting and is stale. But Michael Bradley jumping out of here. All good, dude. Thank you very much. Yeah, pretty gross. Well, plus I don't know if the weather getting warm and then getting cold messes with that, but yeah, it's the tail end of flu season, so it is what it is. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the that's the thumbs up button. I don't know what the subscribe button looks like, but do me that solid. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the notifications so that when I go live in a week or two with my next unboxing from Discount Tackle. By the way, Discount Tackle has some great stuff. The swag is getting better. You see they got gloves. See they got sun shirts. See we got some great hats. Oh, I showed you the Tackle Warehouse hat. Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. But do me that solid. Copy paste the link from the description of this video and go shop at Discount Tackle. Help a brother out and get some good deals. Go buy that Baby Jack. Although don't sell them out before I make the purchase in a day or two, okay? Daniel T, I'm very into that. Let's do that. Perhaps next week, okay? I'm into that. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night. Somehow we're getting more people in here right now, but happy Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you in the next one. Be safe. Have fun. Go catch some fish. Bye.